Yeah, hi guys. Just going to do a flat video. I'm mostly a jumping man and Cheltenham in particular, but I do like good racing and you do get some good racing on the flat. So I took a look at the Guineas betting and just went down through and watched a few races, and I've picked out four that stood out to me, horses that maybe not going to win the Guineas, but horses that might be worth following through the season. All four of them are quite lightly raced. The first one is Item, which is a lovely horse bred by Frank Hall, trained by Andrew Balding. This colt is 2 for 2 for so far in his career. The form doesn't jump off the page. A Kempton all-weather win and a small runner field win at Bath, but it was the style of the wins that caught my attention. And as I keep saying, watch as many races as you can. After you've watched enough, you start to get a feel of what you like to see. This guy is multiple entered in all the big races coming up. His running style would make me think the Derby may well be the long-term aim, but I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a decent race or two along the way. At 50 to 1 for the Derby and 33 to 1 for the Guineas, I'm going to play a little bit each way on it and yeah, following through, see how his 3-year-old career goes.
Over Balthamos staying onto the inside. Item picking up really eye-catchingly down the centre of the course, and it is the flashy chestnut Item who has come to take the lead. On the inside is Balthamos. Yakarim is the one who's flying from a long way back, but it is Item who wins on debut. Item wins.
Three Builders is back in third. Item hasn't fully seen off Blue Courvoisier, but now there's a length and a half between the two. And Item finding plenty on the run up towards the line, stretched the advantage readily to 3 lengths. And Item, who holds the fancy entry, looks a smart prospect. 2 out of 2 for Item.
Yeah, the next selection is Montreal. Similar type, ran twice last year, second and then won. Running some nice races. It looked like it needed its first run and it improved and won very easily on its second run. It looks like it would need a good distance, and so the Derby to me would be its main target. 16 to 1 for that, so that it has been found. But I mean, Aidan O'Brien is just a maestro at these sort of races. So, but there is a little bit of 33 to 1 about for the Guineas. I don't even know of it or running it. It could be one of those horses that uses it as a trial. You could see it just sort of running on at the end. It could win, but you know, at 33 to 1, you'd have to put very much on to find out. But yeah, another one that I'll be keeping my eye on through the season.
Up the straight by Strike While It's Hot. Res Ipsa looking for a run down the outside, both Calair and Claret. Also staying on in the middle of the pack is Pierre Gross, but Montreal is clear as they pass the furlong pole. Out in front, good battle on for the minor money. Tie it out of the inside. Talier stays on down the outer, but that's Montreal a long way clear. Good battle for the second spot, but Montreal wins for Wayne Lordan and Aidan O'Brien. Close for the second.
Yeah, the next two are actually both trained by William Haggis, just the way it worked out. They're both more speedier bred types, and if they're good enough, then the Guineas would probably be as far as they'd probably want to go. They could even be dropping back to sprinting. They're both ran once and they both won. Neither race is looking particularly brilliant, but again, I like the way they travelled. The first is Needle Match, 50 to 1, and the other is Sabre Strike, also at 50 to 1. I've backed them both each way, not for a lot of money, just for a bit of fun. And I've got them in my tracker to follow. Like I said, they may not quite have the quality to win the Guineas. They may not have enough sort of experience, but they could be horses that will pop up, run, and hopefully run well at the sort of the meetings coming up, like Ascot and York and Goodwood, and yeah, they just might be a couple of horses worth keeping on your side.
Also Lamlash Bay. They head down to the final 2 furlongs and now shaken up far side Cape Ash Aziri and is taken on by the white-faced Sabre Strike, who now powers on into the lead. Sabre Strike goes for home from Cape Ash Aziri, who's struggling to respond at the moment. With back in behind them, keep an eye on it, running on fairly nicely. Spaceman also getting the hang of things late in the piece in the light green. Might well press for second, but it's all about Sabre Strike. An impressive winning debut. It's tight for second as Spaceman.
Needle Match is actually running this coming weekend in the Greenham, or it's entered to run in the Greenham. currently 12-1. I've had a little bit each way at that price. There's going to be some horses not running the race. If it pops in at a Windsor Group 3, then the 50-1 that I was just talking about could well be swallowed up. On the other hand, it could run poorly. It may not be good enough. So just play sensible if you fancy following these in. Watch them first, see what you think. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun with that one anyway.
Final two, and Storming Point comes through now to go on. Pilgrim's Progress in second. Needle Match, one from the right, making progress. Bunyola Bay on the right is there as well. Furlong to go, and it's Storming Point in front to Bunyola Bay. Between the pair is Needle Match. They're now on to Pilgrim's Progress, and Storming Point being joined by Needle Match, who's just got the lead, but Storming Point is fighting back as they come to the line. Needle Match and Storming Point very tight. Bunyola Bay behind him in third. Pilgrim's Pro.
Yeah, so there's 4 for you guys. Like I said, this isn't really my area of expertise. I quite like Ascot and a few of the other bigger meetings, but this is all a little bit early season for me. But yeah, I like to look and see what horses could be worth following. And let's say it's just 4 that caught my eye. They're all good prices and they're all lightly raced. So yeah, watch them back, see what you think, and then yeah, don't go too crazy. Anyway, thanks for listening and watching and everything else you guys do, the liking and the subscribing, and yeah, I'll put something else up soon.